we took an action that allowed someone who killed 4 little girls to go free, that would be a real blot on my conscience forever. The only antithesis to that I think about is, right now, the way I understand it, the state police is in charge of the investigation. Do I know that they're doing everything they can? No, I don't know that. If we would turn these tapes over to Box 59, would they have a big stick there of public opinion to whack the state policemen into getting something done? I don't know that that's the case or not, but that thought has crossed through my mind. I think probably the state police are doing what they're gonna be doing, that they're doing their investigation. But I asked Nick, Cleveland, our prosecutor, to please come in today and express much better than I am able to his opinion on this, because he's right in the trenches of it. So Nick, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. You want me to go up here so you can hear
Wherever
me?
you,
Oh, okay.
you're comfortable.
Well, I don't. Okay. Well, I guess I'll stand here just so they can see me. I'm pretty passionate about it, to be honest. I don't think we should turn over the tapes. I think it's part of evidence. I've talked to other investigators, I've talked to other people involved with this case, and they all feel the same way I am. I don't know anyone that feels any different that's involved with this case currently. I want to touch base. I think state police are doing everything they can above and beyond. I know the 2 main investigators involved with the state police. I talk to them 2 to 3 times a week about this case. Sometimes more stuff comes up. We just did an interview last week with another person, and so very heavily involved still in this case, still tracking down tons of leads. They feel the same way I do about the tapes. I think the previous prosecutor was right in objecting to those being released. I think the administrative law judge that made the decision is wrong. I think that the Marion County judge that made the decision for the summary judgment is wrong. I'm attempting to get a hold of the Attorney General's office to see if the state of Indiana will take this over and fight this on behalf of all the counties, because this is something that could have catastrophic consequences, not only in this case, but every case in the future. Because frankly, I believe the 911 tapes are evidence. You're not going to convince me otherwise. It's evidence of criminal activity, evidence of a crime. And that's my opinion. I'm all for the open door law. I'm all for in the public knowing what's going on. But there's certain circumstances where that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't be releasing evidence of crimes or evidence that are part of investigations in the open public. Where does that end if we start with the 911 tapes? Does that mean releasing the bloody weapon that we find? Does that mean releasing a confession that we find? Think about how that hinders an investigation. So I'm very passionate about it. I understand the county's got to look at some other aspects. I'm just looking at the criminal investigation. I'm not considering the money. I'm not considering anything else. I'm considering the integrity of the investigation for the Florida fire. That's all I'm considering. And so I'm pretty passionate about it. I think Mr. Brown was right. They did issue a summary judgment down in Marion County. What that means is they made a decision based on the pleadings, based on what was submitted through paper records. They didn't have a hearing, they didn't have a trial, they didn't have oral arguments, nothing like that. I think that did a disservice to the issue at hand, frankly. I think the judge down there should have heard oral arguments, should have had witnesses, should have had testimony, and then should have made a decision based after that. I'm not the judge down there. All I can say is I don't agree with his decision. I'm bound by his decision like anyone else is, unless we file an appeal. That's what I'm trying to get the Attorney General office to do. That would alleviate the financial component from the county, and I think that would make the commissioner's decision a little easier. I have not got the Attorney General office to do that, to agree to that. I have reached out to IPAC. They're also trying their different avenues to try to get the Attorney General's office to agree to that, but right now we haven't got them to get on board. I think that if we release these tapes, it sets a precedent that all 911 tapes are part of FOIA. I don't believe that's true. I still don't believe that's true. In certain circumstances, yes, but if it's evidence of an open investigation, no way. So I think this has impacts for all the other counties, all the other criminal investigations that we have open here and across the state of Indiana. and perhaps in our whole district. And so I really, really think that this needs to be appealed and taken to the Supreme Court and have them make a decision. I think it's that big of an impact. And financially, that's a lot of strain on the county. I get that, I appreciate that, but I have to look at the criminal investigation, the fact that we're dealing with 4 deaths. And so, to me, that trumps any kind of dollar sign or any kind of dollar figure you can put on an appeal. So, that's where I'm at. I know we've had more discussions, but that's kind of where I'm at.
And what Nick was saying was echoed by all of the sheriff, police chiefs, the investigators, everyone is on board with the same part of it, that we all want justice for these little girls, and nothing we do will ever restore to them what was taken from them, but we need to do what's right. We are in the process right now of spending maybe even $15 million on a facility to protect the people of Carroll County. That's what it's for, the jail. This is something that protects the people of Carroll County. We do not want someone that is this type of a human, or this little of a human, out there loose, who would kill 4 little girls. The only thing I want to add to that is that this TV station has already made some requests for information on the Abby and Libby case. We may be opening the door here to a lot of that if we're not careful. And we just as much want that case settled and want those, whoever's responsible for that. I don't think I'm very far off from saying most of the people in Carroll County would like either one of those predators hung from the lampposts out here. So anyway, it's down to us. Do we want, as commissioners, do we want to just pay the $30,000 that has been, Box 59 made an offer to us that if you would pay $30,000 toward their attorney fees, that they would, and give them the tapes, it'd be over. They say that their attorney fees are higher than that, but they're willing to settle for that. Or we can spend probably about that much money on an appeal to the next step up. What court would that be?
The Indiana Court, Supreme Court.
It would go right to the Supreme Court? Oh, I didn't know that.
And it's a 3-judge court.
Well,
Well, you guys know where I stand. I've been saying no against it the whole time. I've worked there for 14 years. I've dispatched 9.5. I know that some of that stuff is not always evidence, but there's a lot of it is evidence. So I'm gonna make a motion that we file for it.
This is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna comment on that. Whether you think it's evidence or not, I have to disclose it to any defense attorney who represents someone in a criminal case as a piece of discovery, which we consider evidence. It may not be used as an exhibit in a trial, but it's absolutely evidence. Absolutely. Again, it's my opinion.
you are required to give that to the
Absolutely.
defense attorney.
Absolutely.
And yet they'll turn around and say that's not evidence.
Well, that's why I don't agree with the rulings that we've had so far.
That's interesting.
But absolutely, it's a piece of discoverable evidence in a criminal case.
I mean, I lost a lot of sleep on this. I just could be on my conscience if I know if I didn't fight for these young ladies, which is the anniversary's coming up, the 21st. I think that's why they're pushing so hard to get it there. They wanna make themselves a big name.
Not only that, we have service people in this county that risk their life. They're getting their keys away because of nothing. But yeah, this.
We've got an officer that's permanently scarred. I see the officer 3 times a week. You have an officer that's permanently scarred, he's got permanent scars on him.
Oh, yeah. We're lucky to still have it.
Absolutely.
But just knowing there's a possible killer, arsonist out there, it's hard to even sleep at night just knowing that, let alone making a decision like this. This is probably the toughest decision that I've made in the life.
Well, and you know he's out there, he or they. You know they're out there. Whether or not they're in this community, we don't know, but they're out there.
We have a motion, Warren, are you willing to second?
Excuse me.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Motion and a second to, file an appeal. Is that right, gentlemen? Continue this on. We are not going to pay the money, turn over the tapes, and have the case done. We're going to follow the advice of our prosecutor and our law enforcement people. All in favor of the motion to begin our appeal, please say aye. 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 Unanimous consent that we will file an appeal. Okay. Is there anything else that needs to be said about that, or is there any questions about it?
I will say, I will continue to reach out to the Attorney General's office and put whatever pressure I can and put whatever passionate plea I can into them to take over this, because I think it is important for the whole state of Indiana. I believe it has that much importance, so I'm gonna do everything I can to start making phone calls and just trying to get ahold of the right people to try to get them to take this over.
Well, we would certainly appreciate that. I'm sure there are people that think, well, why don't we just wait until you find out about that before we take our action? But we're on a time constraint here. We have to decide by today or tomorrow, what we're gonna do. And we have decided we're going to appeal. Whether you get their support or not, which I agree they should, we'll find out.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Anybody have any comments or questions? Yes.
I'm just wondering, in all the people that you've talked to and interviewed, did you ask the public access counselor to come and talk to you?
No, I did not. And maybe I should have, but I didn't even think of that. And I have talked with them before on other issues and had very good conversations with them. So it's not a factor of that I think, oh, I don't want to talk to these. They're all right. I just didn't think of it. Sorry.
And did you listen to the recording?
I did.
Did you listen to the recording? Have you ever listened to the recording?
Dispatch 9.5 years, I know what's on there.
Did you listen to the recording?
I won't listen to the recording, just like I said the last day.
Did you listen to the recording?
This is the recording.
I can say that for me, I listened to it twice, and I didn't hear anything on there that I would find to be evidential. But I'm not an investigator, and I didn't go through it more or less frame by frame, listening to, there's a lot of commotion, there's a lot of people talking and yelling in the background. What all that is, you would have to spend hours picking through word by word of what's being said in the back. And there may very well be something back there in the background that me just going through it and listening to it twice didn't hear. And I'm not an investigator, I'm not trained to pick that stuff out. Anything else? Yeah. Anything else? Then we need to go on with our agenda. Yeah.
Because of course I did talk to the public access council. And if the prosecutor, if the
Motion to
attorney felt
table
like we needed to
the next
protect it, we
Okay.
could protect it.
Seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Valley. Valley.
Yeah, we've just tabled that for the next meeting.
I will call them and ask them.
Okay, so next up is the Carroll County EDC contract, for, I don't know how many years, long time. Well,
No,
yeah,
they
for a long
tabled
time in history, we have participated in Carroll County economic development.
32 years.
32 years?
32 years.
Right.
It's a long time.
Well,
Well, I just want to say, I know this is a difficult transition, and, you know, it's sobering to sit in the audience and watch you guys make really difficult decisions, so, thank you for your leadership on this, and, yeah, my heart goes out to you guys in the law enforcement community.
Thank you, thank you.
So I was here, at your second meeting in October. There were a couple of, small changes to the contract, which, we made, added, a sentence under, sections, letter C, section 2, about, supplying with our annual budget. I did supply that. In terms of our financials, because we're a nonprofit, 501c3, we're a private organization, our financials and, budget are not subject to Freedom of Information Act. So you have a redacted budget, but, I'd be happy to, if you wanna come out to my office, you know, we can show you our QuickBooks and our financials, whatever you'd like. But I did supply you with the 2020 budget that was just approved last Thursday at our board meeting.
Yes, I did.
It says you want 142,726, but we're only allowing 136,500 just because of our financial issues we have.
Right.
It does state it's a one-year contract like you requested.
Yes, January 1 through December 31st.
Motion to approve the EDC contract for 136,500 for the 1 year for 2020.
Council has not approved the 2020 budget for next year.
Pending council's approval.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the contract, between Carroll County and Carroll County Economic Development Corporation for a one-year contract. The cost of which is, for those services is $136,500. And this motion is made pending council approval. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Motion passed.
Thank you, and I just real quick want to acknowledge that I had several board members come today, to lend their
Sure.
support.
Please introduce them to us.
Yes, Ken Walton, Joe Mayfield, and then, county appointees Miriam Robeson and George Mears. So I appreciate them coming today to lend their support, and if I could just get, Bill, your signature on 2 copies of the contract, and then we'll get it signed on our end, and we'll get an original to them.
Okay. We should say we appreciate all of you coming too. Not just you appreciate it. Let's see.
I like it when you use that to sign it.
Wish you the best this year.
Yeah.
Carroll County Chamber of Commerce contract. Wait, why do you You can ask whatever you want here. What would you like?
We're getting, if we get approval for the jail, would you guys be interested in helping pay for some of the infrastructure coming in for the water lines and stuff, that part of the development?
Really, it'd be the,
Redevelopment.
Redevelopment Commission. to do that,
Redevelopment
but
Commission.
Right.
We would appreciate your support on that.
Absolutely. And I've talked to Larry Trapp, who's the chairman of the redevelopment commission. We actually we just had this discussion, last Thursday. But, will there be a need for improvements along County Road 100 North, for the sheriff's deputies and, those vehicles, especially if they're going eastbound on 100 North, if there will be a need for improvements there. If there is a need, the redevelopment commission, could justify, helping to offset some of those costs, because the, upgrading 100 North would be a benefit to the TIF district, which is the test that the redevelopment commission has to pass, when they're approving allocating funds. So it would be beneficial to Indiana Packers if 100 North was upgraded, obviously would be a benefit to the jail. So, I know that they're receptive and interested, in it and looking in it. Josh Clue is also on the redevelopment commission, and Paul Ryder. So, you have a lot of, very supportive people on the commission to work with.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have the Chamber of Commerce, contract.
You went through this with two kids?
I haven't looked at, unless there were any changes. I did look at the previous, not many changes, so yes.
We're doing $45,000 for them upon receipts of claims and invoices, which we asked to be in there. Yes, it is.
And it's broken down to,
15,000.
yeah, compensation, 15 for operating costs and 30,000 for advertising and promotion.
Motion to approve.
This will
We
be,
need council's approval.
okay, so I got a motion and a second to
You got a lot to approve.
approve the, Chamber of Commerce contract, for a total of $45,000 pending council approval. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Motion passed. We have to sign this one, Steve.
Oh, that's good.
Courthouse grounds usage, we've got 2 or 3 of them here. Oh, we got more than here.
So the two that were filed this morning for your meeting, or during your meeting.
Okay, we'll just start through them. Delphi Lions Club desires to use the Carroll County Courthouse during the hours of 11 to 2 on 12/7/19 for a cancer tree ceremony and Christmas parade, 12/17.
Tuesday.
12/7, not 17, 12/7.
Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Did Eric sign off on it?
Yes, I think that's what that scratch is.
That's Saturday, we'll have to have somebody in here besides him, won't we?
Well, they are going to take his hours and up at the top, it says $60, not the top, but in the middle, where it says $60,
So they're gonna be here a couple hours,
11 to 2.
11 to 2.
And they are also bringing in their insurance form because it was not filed with this.
My concern is getting them off the first floor, running around the courthouse on Saturday.
I think he blocks that off, or we have to ask him to block it off.
Motion to approve on the first and second level is blocked off.
Okay,
And insurance papers.
okay, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Motion passed. The next one is courthouse approval for the Kelly family desires to use the Carroll County Courthouse during the hours of 1 to 3 on Sunday, November 24th for family photos. Sunday, November 24th, and they're willing to pay the custodian $30. See, we just bump it payment of custodians who must be present, $30. And it's a lady named Katie Kelly that has requested this. And it's under condition that it is signed by the, custodian, of insurance, and that we get the check.
Are you wanting to use all levels or just the bottom floor?
I think it just went using pro ten, but I don't know that.
I don't know, that came in during the meeting, I don't know.
873, I don't know.
Remember they wanted it done?
Soon, yes.
Yeah. Before our next meeting.
Yeah.
Don't you wanna be here on Sunday running up and down there?
I think our courthouse is so beautiful that have it in,
I think it's more than they want to have it here.
Yeah.
I just is the security issue.
Do I hear a motion?
Very good.
Got a motion to approve and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Passed. Okay, the next one's the Greater Delphi Chamber of Commerce. Desires to use the Carroll County Courthouse on November 25th through January 6th and December 1st to something, got an arrow here, but I didn't know, for Santa's house. Weather permitting, to get house moved for the purpose of the Festival of Trees in Santa's house. They want to put Santa's house back outside.
I'm okay with festival.
And Miss Tracy Martin is the one who requested this.
It took forever to get that Santa house moved last year. We got contractors coming in to build our boiler downstairs. They're gonna need that area.
Good.
But I allowed them to put it on the parking lot down there by the EMS garage.
Oh, I like it up here on the courthouse.
It does look nice, but we had
Yes,
it here
ma'am.
till March.
There's a reason that, it is moved by donation. The company that moves it does not charge us anything to move it. And of course, if it's snowing and blowing and all that, they can't get in here to move it. It takes a certain tool to move it. That's the reason it wasn't moved last time, is because he did not have the time, and so,
It sat here until almost April.
no, not April.
I think this is the first year that we've ever had it there for very long. I mean, I think usually. it
At the
comes right
latest,
out.
it's gone by February, and that's weather permitting.
Are you gonna cancel Christmas?
And just so you know, the first year we had it, we had like 150 people and kids go through. Last year, there was over 400.
I'm just
I
concerned we're
think
gonna
that's
have,
wonderful.
we're gonna have a crane come in and set that stuff.
Well, we got the crane in there, they can pick the little house up and move it.
Just send
Huh?
Santa down the road.
I think it's already been advertised in the paper, correct?
Well, the Festival of the Trees has, they shouldn't have advertised anything about
I don't,
Santa.
that's what I'm asking if that was.
There
I
was
know the
nothing released
Festival of
about the
Trees.
Santa house, but the Festival of the Trees was,
It was sitting in the
we decorate the
contractor's parking
courthouse
lot,
for you.
right
Can you
there
look
where
at
they
it
need
like
to
that?
Put the boiler in and
Do
everything.
what?
I said, you decorate the courthouse downstairs for them. Can you look at it like that? Sure.
Let's don't start that discussion. I just don't want it to be like it was last year. I want it to go nice and smooth, and because
And what
auditor's
happens
office had
is
a lot of
these
complaints.
businesses and these companies and these people and Floors and Living Down, they offer to come in and decorate these trees. So even though I'm asking for the permission, I don't have control over when people will come and take these trees down. I tell them it needs to be down by the 7th, and I know last year there was a big squabble because they were here a week later. And I was not gonna do this year, just for the fact I did not wanna hear the squabbles. But then people started emailing and calling and saying, when can we put the trees up?
I like the way it looks in the courthouse, I really do, it's just that we gotta get them in and
So
out.
you gotta kinda take the good with the bad, and hope, I mean, I told them to be out of here by the sixth, and you have to hope that they do it, and I do call them and remind them.
Well, let's just-
I think that's right, and I think it's a beautiful tradition, and I like the whole thing, so.
And I do have something else to add.
Sure.
And with the decorations and that, we also have decorations and that for the gazebo, the new gazebo that the Greater Delphi Chamber did. But there is no electricity out there now.
There isn't.
No. When we had it replaced, we had it capped off and safety wise, to where if someone, a child or something was out there. But Eric said that there was some work done inside to where the power was off downstairs or something, so can we get power back to the gazebo?
Why not? Let's try to do that. Okay. Look at it.
My biggest concern is just the boiler, being away of the boiler for the repair.
We don't need all this boilers.
We don't need heat as well. Bring your own little heaters.
No, they're not allowed.
As long as it's out of here before then.
The trees, I'll guarantee, I'll take them down myself, but the sand house, I can't guarantee I can get it moved by January.
I cut that on tape.
Okay, I will. I will.
Well, we can always just say, if you're not here to pick it up by a certain time, your tree will be.
Oh, I tried that. Done.
I
We'll just
usually
take it
don't
down
do
and
this,
throw
but
it
in
away.
the interest of time, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept this application. Will somebody second me?
I'll leave you third.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
You bet. Are we there?
Any other?
Anything else to come before the board? Yes, George.
I hate to drag it on here, but, it's been my privilege to serve the county on two separate boards. Both are up here at the end of the year. One is the Wabash River Heritage Corridor Commission, and the other is Carroll County Economic Development. And I guess I would say that I would be proud to serve on another term in both of those organizations.
And I can say that, George is in my opinion, an outstanding contributor to both organizations, and in so many organizations, you appoint people and they don't show up. And George is there for all of these things, so, in my opinion, we would be, as my dad would say, damn fools if we didn't reappoint him. What's that, Ann? She's saying,
Can't say that.
can't say that, okay?
I've heard worse. Not from him.
Do I hear a, motion to can we just reappoint him right now?
I think that's the best on it,
Terms up this year?
Yeah,
Yeah. Nothing.
okay. I would entertain motions to reappoint George for both the Wabash River Heritage Corridor Commission, did I say that right?
You did.
And the, Carroll County Economic Development.
So moved.
All in favor, please say aye. Got it taken care of. Thank you, George, for your service. George.
Thank you.
Ready to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor, please say aye.
My favorite motion.
We are adjourned. Thank you to all of you. And we are ready for a drainage board.